Welcome to The Edge, the show where ideas meet grit and passion is sharpened into purpose. Today's episode is about fitness, but more than fitness. We'll also talk discipline, consistency, and the business of helping people become stronger, not just physically, but also mentally and professionally. My guest is Mayo Okunnu, also known as the Minister of Fitness, founder and CEO of Bodyrox Turf House, a fitness hub redefining wellness in Abuja. From workouts to community, and from passion to structured enterprise, this is a story of strength built with intention. Let's start where every great journey begins. Welcome to The Edge.
My name is Mayo Okunnu. I am the CEO, founder of Bodyrox Fitness Studios. I am the Minister of Fitness. Remember, your fitness is my business.
Every business begins with a spark. Bodyrox didn't just begin as a gym. It started as a vision for lifestyle change. Mayo, take us back to the moment the idea for Bodyrox was born. What gap did you see in the fitness industry and what problem were you truly trying to solve beyond weight loss and aesthetics?
I'll start with the name. The name came to me in a dream. I dreamt about it. I woke up with it in my head and I was like, that's the name. I'm going to call it Bodyrox. I loved how you could play with it. But the actual idea, how I got into fitness was actually by accident. I grew up as a very underwhelming kid in the sense of I had no athletic ability, I didn't play sports, not because I didn't want to, I just was terrible. I was really bad. I mean, even right from primary school, when we would go for races, they would put me with the girls, and the girls would beat me. Yeah, so that's how bad it was. But I knew I always wanted to do something. So, I don't know, I turned 17, and all of a sudden I just realized that things were different. I could do stuff that I couldn't do before, and I was able to dare to try. And maybe that's what the problem was before. Maybe I just wasn't trying. I didn't dare to try. So I started trying, and then I realized that there must be a lot of people like myself who no one either believed in them or they didn't believe in themselves, but really it's in there. So I wanted to create a space from myself that would give people the ability to dare to try. So the journey didn't start for me here in Nigeria. It started for me in England. So right there, I started from being I was a fighter actually. I was a mixed martial artist. So that's what I did. The fitness came after. So because I had some unusual ways of training, people always got excited when they saw me train and like, oh, can I join you? And like, if you're crazy enough to want to join me, then I'm happy enough to train you. So that's how it started. And then, my UK mom, I would call her, she would say, listen, you're really good at this stuff. People listen to you, people are drawn to the way you do stuff, and you like to break things down, because that's how I like to learn. I like someone to break things down for me. And I do that for my students, my clients. So she said, go get certified so you can start doing this thing professionally. So she actually put the idea in my head. So I got certified, I started training people in England. And then there's a longer story, but then I started Bodyrox there in the UK. But I always did it in a very reductive version of Bodyrox. I always knew it was going to become something much bigger. And so I decided to bring that expanded version of the product, or the service, let me say, to Nigeria. And yes, it was very new. Coming to Abuja especially, the two things existed separately. There was gyms and there was dance studios. That's all. And the gym is like a collection of machinery, and that's where you go there, you use the machines. The dance studio is the dance classes, that's happening. But I came with the concept of doing a hybrid service. So we have gym equipment, you can do the gym thing, but we also have, our main product is that classes that we do, and we have different classes, from strength and conditioning classes to high interval training classes, we also did dance classes at the time, to doing yoga, to doing cardio-based classes. We kind of mixed it up a lot, and I saw that a lot of people didn't understand that, and didn't even understand the idea of doing things in a structured way. Because I remember the first time I was going to have a timetable, my mom was like, people are going to pay you to stick to your time, nobody's going to do that. And I was like, yeah, they're going to do that. And it was a lot of resistance at first, but eventually now people are used to it. Like, oh, I got to get to class, the class is at 5, class is at 6, it's at 7 a.m., it's at 8 a.m., whatever. But structure is super important for this thing that we call fitness. So we first went from a 141 square meter space to a 469 square meter space. And then we really wanted to expand. It's always been a thing of mine. I always wanted to expand, but the idea of expanding has always been changing over time as I got more experience in business. So we started calling the different branches by house names, So we started with Savage House, then we had Slaughter House, then we had Serene House and Silence House. We had Cardio House, we had Med House, we had quite a lot of different houses. And the idea was that every house would have a different personality of some sort, still under one family, but different personalities based on the things that were in that space, So if the house that was focused on martial arts or combat sports was called Slaughter House, and that's what you would find mostly there. Savage House being the headquarters kind of had a mix of everything, and Silent House was more of a yoga-based kind of place, so it was more of the chill, mobility-based stuff, and that's how the housing system came about. So we just had to give everything its own personality, allow it to stay in that creative space and become its own thing, still under the Bodyrox family. Everybody's trying to find a place to belong, find a way to do this thing. So working out is tough. That's the thing people don't want to admit or accept, at least people on my end of it, so the clients will say, like, oh, working out is hard. So you have to find a way to make the working out not feel as hard by trying to do it in a way that you're going to enjoy. So whether that be dancing, that could be your thing. Running clubs are really popular now. Some people just really got into running. But running clubs are kind of like social clubs, really. A lot of people just go to meet up, to network and all that kind of thing. Great. So whatever you do that will make it interesting enough for you to commit to it is what's my own push. That's my own purpose. We're giving all these houses different identities and creating space for people to be drawn in and stay in.
This is Still the Edge. Right now, let's pause to talk numbers, strategy, and sustainability, because passion must be profitable. This is our Money Minute for you today. Turning an idea into a viable business is never easy, especially in an industry that demands physical space, equipment, skilled trainers, and trust. Let's talk about the grind. What were the toughest early challenges encountered in building Bodyrox, financially, operationally, or mentally? And what role did discipline play in the growth process? Can you apply the same principle taught in fitness to help survive tough moments in life?
Train hard, fight easy. So all the things that happen that go wrong, I feel like they're necessary. It's necessary for things to go wrong so that it just builds your endurance, because you need to have endurance in Nigeria. Just generally in business, but especially in Nigeria. If you needed 3 layers of thick skin to do business generally, talk about 5 layers or 10 layers for Nigeria. So coming to Nigeria, first of all, getting over the culture shock, because I didn't really grow up here. Like when I was first bringing my goods in, so I bought things in the UK and I was shipping it over. I got a message that the ship broke down and had to go back to the UK. And I thought the world was going to end, because my rent was already running here in Abuja. And my mom told me something there. She said, "Aren't you happy they didn't tell you that the ship sank?" And I was like, okay, that's a good way to think about it. It's just delayed, it's not denied. So I had to get over that, but that was tough, And then I had people in Nigeria who had told me, Oh, you need you must need money. We're going to give you some money, and they had promised me some millions. And when it was time to deliver, they were just, oh, I'm busy. And then that never came. I was disappointed, but I got to know that help comes from mysterious places sometimes. Like, I had this aunt who had not seen me since I was maybe 3 years old. Just called me out of the blue and like, hey, I heard you're back in Nigeria. Your mom told me she's doing this business. I'm retired now, but just take this, take this money. And that was at the time it was 400,000, but at that time, 400,000 meant something. This was not a loan. This was just a gift, and it really, really hit me. When I first heard about my goods being delayed, it broke me. Then it was on its way back, and it got here, and I'd gone on the customs website, because you could do that. You could put all your goods, the prices there, and it calculates for you how much you owe in your custom payment. And I really believe that's what I was supposed to pay. So my clearing agent was telling me, it doesn't work that way. I was like, what do you mean it doesn't work that way? You're trying to cheat me? You think because I just came to this country, you're going to cheat me? So I fired him. And when customs told me that all I was seeing on the website was nonsense, I called him back and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, please, can you help me clear my goods? Because he had given me a price and I was like, that's way more than what's on the website. That's how it works. I was like, nah. So, and I didn't have any money. So I got hit again with another dose of depression. 3 days, I didn't eat, I didn't brush my teeth, I didn't have a bath. Yeah, that's the truth. 3 days. They would just knock on my door, put food for me. I might have it, I might not. Then I came out of it again. So, character building, conditioning, train hard, fight easy. Eventually the goods came, I cleared my stuff, and we started Bodyrox. A couple of months behind schedule, but we started. And that was January 2015, and now we're in 2026. And we've moved so many places, we've had so many branches, and now we have a new headquarters that is 2 floors, much bigger than what we had before. And this one also had its challenges, and it still has its challenges. New structure, the rains came, showed us that our structure was strong, but some parts to fill out. Every day is a different experience. I tell people that I look at my life like a Netflix show. So I'm like, what's on today's episode? What are we going to do with today? And I think that's the only way you can really do it without losing your mind. Everybody starts off as you and the business are the same. Everybody starts off that way. And then everything was in my head, at one point. I knew all the clients, all the people who were subscribing, I knew you paid for 1 month, you paid for 3 months. I knew what date you were due, all in my head. Then the members grow. And then it can't be in your head anymore, it has to go on a book. Then it goes from being on a book to being on a computer. Then it goes from and then the people you hire has to keep changing too, because you can hire someone that can write things in the book, but the person might not be computer savvy. I like to train my staff green. I'd rather you have no background experience at all, because I feel like people usually come with bad habits and I don't have to start breaking things. I just like to start you off from nothing. But then you get to the point you're so busy you can't do that anymore. You don't have the time to do that anymore. And even when you've trained people that can train the other people, there's dilution that happens. There's, that person puts their own twist to it. The most difficult part of business is the people. That's the truth. Whether that be clients or staff. But in this case, I would say staff. That's actually the most difficult part. There's a employee ethic gap too. There's a lot of things that if you've exposed, if you travel out before, you come and you feel like these things are basic, but they're not there. The thing that I'm really strong on now is structure and systems within the space. It has to be SOPs. You can't talk about it enough. To the smallest of details, pretend like everybody is a dummy. And then outline this process. It's very cumbersome to put this together, but once you've done it, you at least have some semblance of smooth sailing to come after that. I understand a lot of people in my position have become monsters. You know, and we feel like that's what you have to do to control people. But I don't believe that. I still believe in being nice and being a decent person to the next person. I don't want people to do things for me or for the business out of fear. I want them to do it because they want to and they understand that they're supposed to. I've had like 2 moments when I was like, why? What's the point? You take a lot of time to develop people. You know, you see them from where they are and you pour everything of yourself in there. You don't gatekeep anything. The knowledge, the dream, the vision, and you pour it. And then that person, you watch the person grow and develop and you're excited about that growth and development because they're within your space. But then they leave. It's sweet because, wow, you grew, you know, and that's great. That's what I always wanted for you. But it's bitter because it's like, yeah, but you're not doing it outside of me, you know? And there was a time when it felt like this was just what was happening. The second time, the major one, was COVID. Lockdown started end of March. By 4th of May, 2020, these are specific numbers, dates now, I'm telling you. 4th of May, most businesses were open again. Under different conditions, but they were still open. We didn't get the go-ahead to open till August 31st. Estate gyms were still open. They were still running. Fine, people were just doing their thing. But if we tried it, the fine you would get if they don't lock your place up completely. At that point, I felt like I'd wasted my time. So there's a little bit of insanity that goes on in the mind of an entrepreneur, but I was like, yeah, but that broke me. That was hard.
From the grind, we'll take you straight to our edge quote for today, a moment to reflect. Every successful brand has an edge, that one thing that makes it unforgettable. In this segment, let's listen to Mayo as he explains the edge factor of Bodyrox Turf House. Is it the training philosophy, the culture, the community, or the mindset instilled in the clients? And how intentional is he about building that difference? We find out in this segment.
Pick on this industry, the fitness industry, and outline something that's metric points, like, okay, most amount of equipment, newest equipment, most aesthetically pleasing place, location, how nice are the bathrooms, how Instagrammable is the place, all those things, how welcoming is it, and those are the things that actually matter. It's not, you can have the biggest space, you can have the most equipment, you can have the nicest, newest equipment, and yeah, you might get a surge of people, but can you keep those people? So it's not the initial influx, it's the keeping them there. I don't dismiss the power of how you relate to people, how important relating to people is in this business. It's all about relationships, how people are, from the very first thing, how was the person welcomed into the space, you know? That can go the longest way. If you break it down, like forget about all the metrics. Forget about all the physical metrics, you know, like I said, like location. It's how do you feel when you come in? So I double down on the feeling that people get when they come here. I class Bodyrox as an experiential place. So what's the experience you had when you came in here? That is it. That's what saved us. There's a certain feeling you get when you're here that either makes you want to come back or definitely makes you want to stay. I try to make sure that we really lean into that and curate the best experience you can have coming in here. Everything matters, you know. People want people's attention, so you got to give it. On the smallest of things, that's a big deal. In our lady toilets, we have tampons in there because emergencies happen. So every small detail matters, and we keep learning on it too. Okay, this is the new thing that we need to pay attention to. This is something that we ignored for a while. Okay, let's do that. we stay true to ourselves because we know our core product. Our core product is our classes, and we have distinct categories for these different classes, and we can incorporate stuff. And I make a call, like when I see something, like, is this thing something that's going to come and go, or is it going to come and stay? I'm not a banker or a lawyer that opened a fitness facility. No disrespect to the people who are, but I am an owner that is in that space, you know. I still take classes now. I'm still a trainer because my hands are still in the soil. I had to learn the real meaning of communication, and that's still an ongoing process. I'm still learning, you know, because there's so many layers to it. People just feel communicating is talking. It's like, no, there's talking, there's hearing, there's listening, there's understanding. Because there's so many personalities coming together in this place. You have to understand how people are. I'm having to learn it myself, have difficult conversations. I'm actually non-confrontational. I don't like it, you know. People are generally fickle, you know. A new sport pops up, boom, I want to try that one. But we have people who have gyms or fitness facilities in their estates, but they will come here. We have people that have fitness facilities in their office, but they will come here. The office even give them the office one for free, but they will pay to come here. Is it jazz? We're not jazzing you, but because they feel like they belong here.
We're almost at the last segment of our conversation with Mayo, but it's time now for our edge tip. That practical wisdom our viewers can always apply immediately. Time now to look ahead. The fitness industry is evolving, from gyms to wellness hubs, from physical training to lifestyle transformation. What does the future look like for Bodyrox Turf House? Expansion, innovation, new services, and again, what legacy are they intentionally building through this brand?
Scaling has always been a thing for me. Like, it's been a pressing question for me. If I want to count how many branches I've had, I've probably had almost 12. Right now, we're just down to 3. You know, so that's what will happen. I'll open branches and close, and I will learn a different lesson from everything. You know, there's been countless failures. Like, let's say it as it is. Like, we thank God for the work and for His blessings of having to get to this point. But there've been a lot of failures. There've been a lot of branches I've opened and I've closed. But I finally figured it out. I know exactly how I'm going to scale, and the only thing I'll say is that expect Bodyrox to have its own unique franchise model. The only thing there, the major thing there, major concern is retaining the Bodyrox spirit of community as it expands. In my office as the Minister of Fitness, I have imposed on myself the responsibility of helping to take, not solely, I said helping to take the fitness industry in Nigeria to its next step, next phase. And that next phase is structure. There still isn't any structure, really. It's much better than it used to be, but there's still, as we speak now, a good-looking guy with a buff chest and a six-pack who has been working out for a couple of years can get a job in the gym and call himself a trainer. As we speak now, this can still happen now with no consequence. That's not good for us. I mean, it's nice to have like ease of entry or a decent barrier to entry to a place, but even for us to feel like what we're doing has value, you need to up that, you know? So, and that's only going to come with structure. So expect that to happen within the next 5 years. You're going to see a much more structured industry, you know, sector. The wellness industry is going to come under some scrutiny, and I put that charge on myself. I want Bodyrox to always be that place where it gave people the space to dare to try, to dare to be better, to dare to be better. So whatever that means, whether it means stronger, whether it means leaner, whether it means buffer, like whatever that is. But beyond my own life, beyond when it becomes a franchise and all that is everywhere, I just don't want that spirit to go, that spirit of belonging. I want that to always be the thing that, that we are known for. Remember, that thing that's going to get you through is already inside you. All the tools you need, God has already put it inside you to succeed. So believe in yourself more. Stop looking outwardly as much, for the answer, for validation, for the courage, that kind of thing. It's actually there. So we need to look in more than we look out.
On the Edge, we love to hear from you through your comments. Here is how to send us messages and share your opinions with us on the program. It's been a story of vision to discipline, passion to structure. Today we're reminded real strength is intentional. Mayo Okunnu is proof that when discipline meets purpose, impact will definitely follow. Thank you for joining us on The Edge today. Always remember to stay bold, stay inspired, and stay on the edge. My name is Tochi Eputa. Thank you for joining us on The Edge, right here where ambition meets execution. See you next time. Bye for now.